My son is napping right now, so this is a nap time hustle. Let's make some Super Bowl appetizers. Yum, yum, yum. Even though my team is not in the Super Bowl this year, 2020, let's be honest, I only go to the Super Bowl parties for the food. Like I said, I go to the Super Bowl parties for the food and the commercials. I like those too. But camaraderie and food, two things I love the most. So I'm getting my food ready. Again, I'm starting with the chili. So I am, and this is a turkey chili recipe, but I am using ground beef because that is what I had in my freezer and I wanted to make sure I got this used. So I'm using extra lean ground beef. I have to get it defrosted, so I'm going to throw it into a microwave piece that does defrosting and it's gonna cook my hamburger. So I've got a pound of extra lean hamburger. So this is a Tupperware piece. It's called the Tupperware Stack Cooker. It is a lifesaver and one of my favorite pieces, and I use it all the time. So this is going to go in the microwave. I'm going to put it on a defrost mode for to get the meat defrosted, and then I'm actually going to cook it. Once it's defrosted, it'll take 5 minutes to cook, and I'm going to throw it in the crock pot with all the other ingredients. I picked these recipes because they all seemed like they would go fast. They also seemed like they'd be very tasty and delicious. To make the Bloomin' onion, you want to make sure you cut off both ends of the onion so you have flat surfaces on each end. Then you're going to start to cut the onion in half and then in quarters, and then continue to get each segment smaller and smaller, being careful to stay a good 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of the onion. You don't want to go all the way through or your onion won't bloom, it'll just fall apart. Oh, I went close. Now I'm going to get an onion ready for my chili, and this is just going to get diced. Now I will be really honest, as you can tell from my gloved hands, I really love onion. I hate smelling like onion, and I know I've mentioned it. I'll say it again. I'll say it over and over again, but because of that, I don't really cut onions up. I chop them up. All right, I've got my onion in my chopper. Completely all chopped. So, funny story, when we cook with onions, or a lot of onions, the next day our shower smells like onion. And our shower's on the other side of the house, but it just never fails. It always smells like onion. So with the leftover chili, we have chili cheese dogs on the menu for tomorrow, actually, for lunch. I'm sending it with my husband, and me and my son will have it. So I just added a can of crushed tomatoes, and I'll be adding a can of kidney beans as well. I will be adding a second can, even though the recipe calls for one. I actually really like beans, so I bought a second can. I think I'm gonna add them. This recipe calls for 3 tablespoons chili powder, 1 tablespoon cumin, and salt and pepper to taste. And I have everything that the recipe calls for. Oh! Did you see that? That's probably 2. 3. Oh, I can smell that chili. Here I'm adding 1 tablespoon of cumin, salt and pepper to taste, and then give everything a good stir, Then I'll be adding the 1 pound of extra lean hamburger to my chopper to chop it into a nice, really, really fine consistency. Adding that to the chili, then giving it a good stir, and then letting it sit in the crock pot for 4 hours on high. So back to the Bloomin' onion. I'm going to take a 1/4 cup of flour and 3/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, some salt, paprika, and I'm going to mix it together in a small bowl. Then I'm going to separate all the onion pieces and sprinkle the flour over the onion, trying to coat as many of the pieces as I can. With that, then I'll transfer it to another bowl, and I'm going to add in a 1/4 cup of cornmeal. The cornmeal then gets mixed together, and I'm going to make an egg wash using 2 eggs and water, and then get as much of the onion coated as possible before I dredge the new flour and cornmeal mixture over the Bloomin' onion. This is where I started to doubt my Bloomin' onion making skills. But I persevered, I kept going, and this is what I thought at the time. This time I think I'll do onion rings. All right, so we're gonna do 2 tablespoons of fat-free Greek yogurt, 2 tablespoons of light mayonnaise, a tablespoon of horseradish, and a tablespoon of ketchup. Oh, that's actually a very good sauce. Okay, not gonna lie, at some point my camera turned off, and I'm not sure when, so I don't know what you've missed. But right now I'm making creamy Mexican dip. What I have done is mixed a cup of fat-free Greek yogurt with a 1/2 cup of salsa. So to this dip, I'm adding a 1/2 teaspoon of cumin powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of table salt, and then a 1/4 of a small onion that is going to be all chopped up and diced into small pieces. Then a 1/3 cup of fresh cilantro, also chopped up into small little pieces, and then mixed together thoroughly. I'm gonna test this dip. So the only thing missing from my dip is some fresh avocado. That's because mine is not ripe enough. Oh my God. This dip is absolutely delicious. Salsa, I need 2 Granny Smith apples. I'm going to do 8 strawberries. I'm going to do 2 kiwi fruits. Help keep it from browning, I'm going to add just a little bit of lemon juice. Smart points, it goes super good on top of ice cream, on top of like angel food cake. I'm going to be making some cinnamon chips to go with it. So all I did was just melt some butter, and then I did 1 tablespoon of butter, and then I'm going to throw those in. Seal it and shake it. Oh, they got coated really nice. And then I'm going to add the Lankato Monkfruit Sweetener. So I'm going to add the cinnamon and sugar to the container, give everything a shake so everything gets evenly coated, then lay everything flat, and it's going to bake for 350 in the oven until nice and crisp. So now on to our Southwest turkey egg rolls. My turkey is going to go into the microwave for 5 minutes to cook. Then I will take a shallot and get it prepared to be chopped up. 2 tomatoes will go into the chopper as well. So I'm using pinto beans, and it's a half cup for this recipe because I used the kidney beans the recipe called for in my chili. The extra beans are also going to be thrown into the chili. Next, I'll be taking that pound of ground turkey and adding it to the chopper with the shallots and tomatoes and beans. And then I'm just going to mix everything together until it creates a nice paste to fill my egg rolls. To assemble the egg rolls, you take 2 heaping tablespoons and then fold from bottom, right, left, and then top, and then use water to paste them together. And finally, I used an avocado cooking spray to spray them before putting them in the oven to cook. Back to our Bloomin' onion. We're going to take the onion and put it into the air fryer and then also spray it with the avocado oil cooking spray. And lastly, we're going to finish our spinach dip. So we're going to loosely pack a cup to a cup and a half of spinach into the chopper. Then add half a can of artichoke hearts, 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, 3 to 4 ounces of light cream cheese, a half cup of Greek non-fat yogurt. Mix everything together, and then I'm going to be putting mine into a Micro Pro grill. This is a grill for the microwave. So I add everything, spread it all over the bottom, and then I'm going to top it with 3/4 cup of a reduced fat cheese. Put it in the microwave for about 5 minutes, and then it will be ready to go.